Is it gonna let me lay out? Let me find. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Charge this. Make sure we got some battery life going. Okay. Hopefully the sound is okay. All right. Okay. Greetings, everybody. I know it's probably late where some of you guys are, but I'm going to be doing a worldview reading for the collective and just to see what's going on post elections. For those of you that are kind of concerned about, the state of the US, after this whole election season has taken place and popped off. So, yeah, we're going to tap into that a little bit. Let me adjust my camera, y'all. Make sure that you guys can see everything okay. All right, hopefully that's good. Hopefully that's good for you guys. So I'm just going to tap into the energy surrounding the world. Right? And some more things. Like, what do we need to know? Right? What do we need to know? What do we need to see? We're going to be using the magic circle to divine, okay, with our tarot. So whenever you guys see this, I hope that this message is helpful, okay, for you all. So I just want to tap into the current state of the consciousness, the collective consciousness, or what's surrounding the world right now, okay? All right, divine source, guide, angels, ancestors, who lovingly guide us and assist us, Mama Earth. I pray for wisdom, insight, permission to tap into the collective energies. What is the current state of the world right now? What is the energy? Let's see. What is the energies surrounding the post-elections? What do we need to know? What do we need to see? You have the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands. I feel like the state of the world right now is kind of like a 50-50 split. It's almost like a collective that's kind of distinct, like two distinctive energies of the collective. So like one side of the collective is possibly wanting to escape and move to much more of a peaceful state or place, whether that's a literal location, whether that be a state of mind or all of the above, like somewhere where they feel like it's most calm. I feel like a lot of people are considering leaving the country, of the US specifically. And then there's another split of those that are still caught up in, the hustle and the kind of like the consciousness of materialism, capitalism, all those things. It's like people are still caught up in that. And I feel like if we're going to have a leader, we want a leader that's going to actually be for the people. And for those that have a different perception of this, is like, okay, well, the leaders that we have in front of us, they may not necessarily be the best choice, neither or. And then there's another collective that's looking for a leader. Like they feel like they have to have someone to guide them, someone to lead them. Still caught up in the matrix of, I don't know. It's kind of giving with the Six of Wands, like needing someone to look up to, needing someone to validate or to but it's coming from a very superficial space where for like the other half of the collective is more so wanting calmer space, wanting to move away from capitalism, wanting to move away from, greed and fame, like, celebrity culture. There's something about this because you have two sixes here, the Six of Swords, Six of Wands. It's like two separate energies. Let's see. The dominant energy surrounding the world as a whole, Divine Spirit. What is the energy surrounding the world as a whole? What is the energy surrounding the world as a whole? The Ace of Wands, Hierophant. It's like a passion for order. Yeah, there's some sort of desire for order. It's again like people are looking for someone to lead, and I feel like that's kind of I feel like that's a community minded thing because they're always, in every community or every tribe, there is someone that is what we call a leader. But there's something about this that's like kind of stuck in religion and traditions that may be kind of like man made constructs. Um, I feel like divine spirit is calling people to step up to certain mantles that they've been called to. I'm hearing the word mantle. Like they're being called to step into their purposes and callings at this time. This is the time now for people to really be moving in their purpose. And not looking for someone to guide them per se, but maybe, yes, it's okay to have inspiration. It's okay to have mentors, but I feel like looking outside or these institutions, this is a man-made construct. It's not a divine construct, really. Hopefully I'm making sense when I say this. Five of Pentacles, because yes, what's going to happen is that no matter what country you live in, no matter what tradition you come from, religion, culture, in some way leaders are going to let you down because they're human. And I know this might sound a little crazy, but I'm hearing the Whitney Houston song, The Greatest Love of All. If you really listen to that song, like really, really listen to it, I feel like it will hold some sort of message for you, some sort of light bulb that goes off. And I feel like there's something about emptiness and looking for something that is already there, something that you can find within yourself. Yes, we kind of, we do need some level of dictatorship and leader, but not under the vibration or the template that we've had for centuries. It's like that order is disordered. It's dysfunctional. It's not in alignment. It's not for the people, you know. Yes, I feel again there's a 50-50 split in the collective, and some of you guys may have heard this message of this type of energy before where people are choosing sides. It's kind of like the red pill, blue pill side of life, or light versus darkness. Whether you play in the middle or you just kind of play in the background, or you're indifferent, or you're very clear and decisive about what you stand for, who you are, what side you're on. And I'm not really talking about political parties per se, but talking about vibrational energy. There is a great divide. What's interesting is that people kind of get caught up in politics, not knowing that these two sphinx, they're part of the same chariot, they're part of the same movement. So getting caught up in like, oh, I vote for this person, I vote for that person, is really just playing into an illusion. Yeah. There's I feel like there's a lot of deception. A lot of people may be under deception and some see it for what it is. That deception, I feel like this is kind of vague, but I feel like this deception is not just based off of like world views and things like that, or politics and things going on like that. It could also be just in our everyday reality, being under the illusion when it comes to um, certain dynamics and connections. I feel like people don't even understand or see the fact that, and this is so hard to explain, but some people may not understand or see the fact that um, like what they invest in sometimes is kind of like a demonic system. And that's why I say, like, I don't get into politics. And I know people get really upset with that. And it's like, well, why not? Why don't you like participate in that and vote and do this and do that? I feel honestly, if you take a step back, I feel like it you're participating in something that essentially isn't, it's not what you think it is, and it something about it does feel really sinister. It's like energy harvesting I'm picking up on. Yeah, like some sort of wanting or seeking some sort of justice that's not meant to come through a certain or specific avenue. And as long as you're feeding into that illusion that this is where justice is going to come from, or one day somebody's going to be a leader in this sense and they're going to save us, that's never going to happen. And this may not just be political, this could be religion. You know what I mean? Like, we're waiting for some, and this might be a controversial thing, this might trigger people, but waiting for like someone to come down and save them, some sort of savior and God, and misinterpreting the whole idea of being one with God. Not saying that you are God per se, that you're the creator of everything, but you are a co-creator. You are an aspect, a manifestation of God. And so I feel like all of this energy, kind of like if you look at things on the world stage, it is telling a story of, I wouldn't say a battle, but kind of like a dialogue within the self. Like, so for instance, if you want to talk about like the politics, you know, the whole elections and stuff like that, I feel like even if it's like some sort of world stage thing or it's like pre-plans, if you want to get into the conspiracies of that, even with that, like the fact that a woman is able to run for president, I feel like as a kind of like a prophetic message, it is kind of giving you an insight into the rise of the divine feminine, and the divine feminine being in power. A woman of color, even more so, being in the running to be elected as president is also a big thing, because if you know, America is racist as fuck. Whether people want to deny that or not, America is racist as hell. And I feel like this election just revealed that it's inherited racism and white supremacy. And sometimes people don't even see that they're operating in white supremacy, which is kind of sad. But just the fact of that, a woman and a woman of color was able to run, I feel like that does speak volumes on a collective level. And it also, on the other side, on the shadow aspect of it, of, you know, is that the patriarchy and white supremacy is still very much a big demon that needs to be, um or the toxic aspect of patriarchy, it needs to be annihilated. It does. I'm hearing two sides of the same coin. I don't know what that means. um I'm gonna ask, what is the most pressing or challenging obstacle the world is facing right now? What is that? The Seven of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, and the Three of Swords. The seeds that we plant, or the intention, is not based off of, it's not based out of love or the heart. It's coming from a place of maybe survival. I'm seeing something about like psychological warfare. I'm hearing that. Um, the attacks on the heart chakra, I'm hearing that as well. There's a lot of confusion and frustration, I feel like, collectively in the world. Um, and I'm getting, again, like the biggest thing is attacks on the heart, attacks on the heart chakra. That's the biggest pressing issue or challenge or obstacle the world is facing right now. Let's see what hidden things are influencing the collective that are not visible, maybe. What underlying forces or truth are influencing the collective right now? It may not be visible. Spirit, what are the underlying forces or truths that are influencing the collective that are not immediately visible? You have the Death card, the Three of Wands. I feel like the world or the collective of the world, it's almost like, I feel like, yes, there are people that are ready for change, but it's like, are we really ready for change? Or at least, like, if we're ready for change, are we ready for what comes with that change or how to get to that change? Are we really prepared? Are we really ready for what comes with the changes that we're asking for? So it's like, yeah, we could be desiring a change or shift collectively, but we may not know what we have to face or endure or maybe release or let go of, or what needs to be dismantled to get to that change. So, because it's inevitable. I feel like there is like definitely annihilation, but I don't feel like people are ready. And it's like it's going to take some type of divine force, some type of divine intervention to bring about these changes or these shifts that maybe people are not ready for. Um, it's a desire, yes, like I said, it's a desire, but it may be a lack of preparedness. Hmm. Yeah. So, what are the desires and needs, or maybe even fears of the collective population? Like, what's the wow? Okay. Of course, justice would come out. The Ten of Wands and the Nine of Cups. So, of course, the needs and desires for justice. And that justice, I feel like it's coming from those that feel they've been oppressed. And that could be any group of people. It could be women, it could be the LGBT community, it could be anyone that is feeling oppression, it could be people in other countries that are facing wars. Um, Anyone that is feeling, groups of people that feel oppressed. Their fear is that the cup is going to be continue to be fulfilled and poured into selfish hands, into selfish dictators and rulers. It's like their cup is getting filled while we carry the burdens. Page of Pentacles. There's people that are, they may not have a lot, but it's like if I could just have a little portion of something, I would do well with it. I would extend it. I would, like people that have, you know how some people say, like, if I was to become a millionaire, I would take care of everyone in my life. I would have charities. I would do this for the community. I would do this for the world. It's kind of like that energy. And it doesn't have to be a financial blessing or gain, but it's like if I had just a little bit of influence, I would do this and I would do that. But like for the needs and desires of the collective population, I might be picking up on those that are coming from a hardship place, not more so from people that operate in, lower vibrational energy and selfishness. I'm not really picking up on that. Let's see. I'm going to ask that. The shadow side of the collective, what are their needs, desires, and maybe even fears? That part of the collective that operates in darkness, negativity, um, demonic energy, and influence. What are their needs, desires, or fears? This is not a man versus woman thing. This is just about balance and order. So you can't have a dominant masculine energy running the collective forever without it being a balance of the counterpart, the feminine energy also being empowered. So I do feel like the fear, it is stemming from with the Queen of Wands and the Strength card. They actually fear the strength of women. Why? Because I feel like the falsehood, the false truths is going to be called out. It's going to be dismantled. And I feel like that energy is already happening as we speak. Like women collectively, if you pay attention, there's like a uprising of women, gatekeeping their bodies and wounds. Not just marrying just for the sake of marriage. There's no desperation in the energy. And that can be very alarming for people that feel like women, their whole existence is wrapped around getting married and having a man and having kids and things like that. Or um, women being leaders and speaking and things like that. It's, that push and pull between, okay, we'll allow some of it, or we'll try to control it or dictate that, to the point where you can no longer dictate and control that. I do feel like the lower vibrational energies do not want women in power. They do not want that. Again, because it's going to bring order where there is chaos and dysfunction in order. It's going to shed a light. It's going to call that out. Literally, it's going to be a great awakening that comes with it. And I feel like it's already happening. You can't stop it. It's happening. I don't feel like it's something that could happen. No, it's happening already. This uprising, this great revelation, great awakening, it's already happening. They need to keep that dictatorship, that um, living by the sword with wars and all of these like lower vibrational patriarchal energies. They are being challenged by this divine feminine power and energy. And even more so when women tap into their divine feminine essence, their truths, their magic, their gifts, their callings, their talents, their purposes. That is something that I feel like is shaking things up a little bit. And it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to shed light. Okay. So, how are the leaderships or governing bodies? How are they impacting the current state of the collective, no matter what country you're in? So, I'm going to ask specifically for the US. Let's ask that. How are the leaderships or governing bodies impacting the current situation of the collective globally? Hmm. The Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune. I know I sound like a conspiracy. I know I do, but how do I say this? I'm gonna say all speculation and allegedly. I'm hearing something about the Vatican. I don't know why, but mm, I'm hearing something with the Vatican. Uh, okay, again, like I said, allegedly, because hey, for entertainment purposes, right? I must say that. I'm getting something with like the Catholic Church or the Vatican. There's something like we're trying to tamper with destiny or prophecy. These officials, like, they're tampering with something. But I feel like these are people that are spiritual, like leaders, or have spiritual gifts, or they understand prophecy. Let me pull another card. Chariot again. Yeah, this is like light versus darkness. This feels like energy, or like a kind of like a leadership or influence that comes off is like maybe on the righteous path, but in one hand there's a darkness about it. Hmm. I feel like it has to be vague. I feel like I have to be vague about this. Hmm. We'll move on from that. And I don't feel like this is just the state of the US. I feel like this is the world. Seven of Cups, yeah, illusions, deception, trickery, energy harvesting again. Like I said, harvesting on people's energies, picking and choosing what things to put out in the media and where, what part of the world, what agendas. That's what I'm seeing. Hmm. So I'm gonna ask about the environment. What messages or guidance does this, when it comes to what role does nature or the environmental issues play within this narrative of the collective energies? Like what role does nature or environmental issues play in this narrative? Ten of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords. Yeah, this divine feminine energy is coming back, and it's going to challenge some of these so-called royal bloodlines. Yeah, taking back what's theirs. I was getting these are at the bottom of the deck. I was picking up a lot with that hurricane that just passed that was hitting Florida. And I was getting that the water spirits, because I do believe that there's a world in the water. There's life underneath the water that's not just the sea creatures, but there's actual like um beings that live underwater. And I thought I was kind of tripping a little bit because I do believe that there's mermaids. People have cited mermaids before. It's not as a woo woo or this mythical type of concept as you might believe or think, but I was picking up like that particular region or area. I was getting like water spirits are angry, and I feel like that whole hurricane. And some people might say, "Oh, well, harp and whatever, like weather manipulation and stuff like that." That could be a role or play a part in it, but I was getting like mainly the water spirits were upset, and some people in certain parts of the world um again have cited some of these water spirits. And I came across a video that was posted around the same time of this hurricane, and it was this man that's a missionary, and he said that when he was at the ocean, he was doing I don't know if he was performing some type of baptism or something, or he was guided to do some work with the water. He's a Christian, and Christians are not big on mermaids and stuff like that. They call them demonic spirits of the water and stuff like that, right? They call them marine spirits. Anywho, he says that when he was there, he's witnessed a big water spirit coming out of the ocean. And I believed him. That was confirmation for me because I thought I was tripping. I felt like, okay, these are water beings that are upset, that are tampering with the waters in the oceans. And you could say Mother Earth as well. That is her outcry. And I remember months ahead, probably back in May, or maybe earlier than that, when I visited the ocean, and I felt the anger and the rage from the water. The ocean is like one of my biggest sanctuaries. So the water, it's like it has a certain frequency and a language. And when I went to the water, like I said, I felt like this aggression. I felt this anger coming from the water. I don't know how to explain it. Um, So it doesn't surprise me about the certain hurricanes and stuff like that. And granted, like the seasons and stuff that we're in, sometimes it's a given. But something about that particular hurricane, I felt marine or water spirits were not pleased, were not happy. And you have to think about it this way as well. People's ancestors that have been slaughtered and inward um, in these waters, these oceans, or their lands have been taken from them, or there's genocides and buildings being built on these lands, these reservations, and these genocide sites and things like that. Ancestrally, spiritually speaking, it's crazy for people to think that these beings are not going to, or these spirits or these ancestors are not going to have an uprising. Like, you got to be crazy. Like, let me go back to the judgment card. Judgment card speaks about the book of Revelations. This is the book of Revelations in the Bible being depicted on this card, where it says the dead will rise up from their graves when the trumpet is called, when that angel blows their trumpet, the dead will arise. And I'm getting like this great revelation, this great awakening is going to cause that effect. And people that are still living, people that are still here, that are the grandchildren or the great 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 grandchildren of these ancestors that have gone through these warfares, these genocides, their lands being stolen from them, their languages being taken from them, or them being forced to speak other languages and take on other religions and spiritual customs and gods. That anger, that divine holy rage as it's called, is warranted. I don't know how it's going to be expressed. It's happening all around the world. It's not just here in the Americas. It's like, how could you think that you can get away with that? And I say this all the time, and it might ruffle some feathers, but I gotta say it. If the trauma that our mothers and grandmothers experience can be passed down through our cells and our DNA through the womb, what makes you think that those that caused that trauma, those that witnessed the genocide of others and participated in it, or their ancestors participate, what makes you think that that same energy doesn't live in your blood? The only way to reconcile that is to correct it. As long as you're living comfortably under your white supremacy or that dictatorship, that continuing that genocide and that prejudice or that racism, no matter what culture or what religion or what ethnicity you come from, as long as you're still perpetrating that, you are part of the problem. You're part of the problem. I saw something today. I don't remember who posted it, but it's a indigenous tribe, I think, of New Zealand. I think they're called the More. I can never pronounce their name. They're a Polynesian tribe, if I'm not mistaken. And a woman from that tribe was in the court. She started speaking in her native tongue, and you could tell it was holy rage coming out of her mouth. It's like, how dare you come and you try to gentrify people's lands and things like that. Like, it's bad enough that we're charged for certain natural resources and things like that, or tampering with our food and our lands and stuff like that. Like, you're crazy as hell, and you're building hotels and you're building all these fancy, things on top of sacred land or places where you committed genocide. It's like, it's crazy to me. It's insane. Having slaves build your white houses and things like that, and you don't think that that energy is going to return back to you some kind of way. Like, you crazy. Has anybody ever heard of generational curses? Like, I'm just curious that just because you weren't there and you didn't whip the slaves, or you didn't, do whatever you did around the globe, that energy is going to skip you, or that karma is going to skip you. No, especially if you're still benefiting off of that. That's not going to skip you. It's not. And it just blows my mind how ignorant people are and how passive aggressive people are about certain things, and it just lets me know that people are struggling with that generational curse, or that generational trauma that their ancestors endured on other people. They're still wrestling that within themselves, to like kind of where that colonizer spirit is still there to like tell you how you're supposed to feel about certain topics and things. Oh, just get over it. Oh, just it's okay. It's all good. It's this and that. Oh, that happened years ago and you're too sensitive. And oh, I'm not racist because this white. It's like it's like you're trying to colonize me and gaslight me at the same time. Like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of stuff needs to be reconciled within the self, within the soul. Just ignorance on both ends needs to be reconciled within the self. Because just because your hands did not touch a slave or didn't hurt someone, whatever, in another country, whatever was perpetrated, that runs in your DNA. Some of your great grannies were little kids watching people getting hung on trees and watching it for a fucking entertainment. And you think that type of psychological bullshit doesn't exist in your cells. You're crazy. You have to heal that. Just as those that their ancestors may have witnessed their loved ones being taken into custody for something they didn't do because someone lied on them, and then having them executed, or watching them getting hung or dragged or stripped from them. It wasn't that long ago when segregation happened, and there's still certain places around the world that still practice racism. You can't go at certain areas or certain places after a certain time of day here in 2024. That's not something you can just say, oh, get over it. Racism still happens to this day. It does. And I hate that people try to turn a blind eye and pretend that it doesn't exist and it's not happening. It's a sick thing. But as long as you say, "Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's terrible." And you don't call it out, you don't say nothing, you're comfortable in it. And again, like I said, you're benefiting off of that same colonizer racist spirit. I mean, like, I don't get what people don't get about that. I don't get it. Child, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But anywho, yeah, so nature, I feel like if you really pay attention, if you're really connected to nature, you will sense the dis-ease within the energy. Nature will speak to you. When you start seeing animals drop like flies, or them being just like an abundance of animals washing up on the shore all at once, you gotta not just think about it, oh, the chemicals and things like that in the water, but it's a message from the divine. So I do feel like the world needs that divine feminine energy to nurture and to heal, to be that safe space, but also be a safe space for herself. And when I say herself, I mean the divine feminine energy, the mother, divine feminine goddess energy. Like, I can be that nurturer for everyone, but I also have to hold space for myself. I have to stand in my power. It's a balance, right? The Queen of Swords is that warrior spirit energy. Queen of Cups is that lover, okay? That lover goddess energy, and the warrior goddess. It's one, but it has to have that balance. And I feel like that is taking place. Just as Mother Earth is like, I love my inhabitants, but I will not tolerate bullshit. So if I got to clear out and I got to do what I got to do collectively, or with nature, or just with life circumstances, I'm going to do that. Because yeah, there's a war, there's a battle spiritually going on. Literally, there's wars going on around the world, there's genocide going on around the world, there's all these things happening. But what's happening, it is a great divide as well. Just as the great awakening is happening, it's a great divide that's happening. Okay. So let's ask, what messages or guidance does the spirit realm have for navigating this time? So let's see. I'm actually going to pull some oracle. I'm going to tarot back for a second. Is everybody okay? Everybody good? I know I kind of went off, like I went on, on and on and on. But that's that holy rage. Look, I don't like racism. I don't like prejudice. I just don't. And I feel like naturally communities, this is my thing. We're all going to have differences, and we may not like everything about each other and things like that in certain communities, whether it's race, whether it's sexual, like, orientations, whether it's whatever. We may not agree on certain things, but to respect your fellow human is to say, you know what, I may not agree with everything that you're about, or your customs, but I'm not here to tamper with that. And I feel like that's the problem with some humans on this earth, is they feel the need to attack everything that they don't understand, or try to colonize it, or try to demonize it, try to control it, um, hide it, cloak it, um, keep it captive or imprisoned. And that's the part of humanity that needs to die off. People that operate like that, they need some help. They need to go somewhere. If you can't get with the program, I don't know what to say. And I say this all the time. Racism, or just like hate for another human being that did not do anything for you. They're just existing, they're just being themselves, or there's something that you don't understand, or they look different from you, they talk differently from you, or they don't have as much money as you, for you to think that you're better, or to hate them, or just whatever. You're sick. That's a demonic energy within itself. There's no need for all of that. I was reading about the Trail of Tears like a few months ago. I felt guided to look into that. And they were talking about like people that were revisiting certain places and things like that, and doing ceremonies and celebrating their ancestors, those that went through genocide and things like that. And then it was, I guess, it was a Caucasian man that had went back because they traced some of their ancestors back to that time, I guess, that um, had caused the genocide. And because of that, I wouldn't say guilt, but maybe a little bit of guilt and just kind of disappointment. They wanted to reconcile. And this is what I'm saying. This is how I know I don't be tripping. Because when I read that, I was like, what I was feeling months ago, because I said this in the live and it probably ruffled some feathers, but I was like, I hate when people say that both sides of this is like, okay, with the people that their ancestors went through the genocide, whether it was slavery, whether it was their native ancestors or ancestors of different, different cultures or different parts of the world that went through certain genocides and things like that. To just say to get over it, or it wasn't that bad, or don't forget about what happened to these people. And it's just like, that's gaslighting to me. If a person is saying that I was M word as a child, or I was R word, and then you go and say, oh, it's not that bad because, oh, you got R word by your uncle, but I got R word by some stranger in a taxi. And it's like trying to like gaslight, oh, it's not that bad, because like that's, you're lacking compassion. And it's something that you're trying to avoid. So again, going back to the whole carrying your ancestors' trauma, mainly from your maternal ancestors, carrying that can go back, if I'm not mistaken, I think 17 generations. I could be wrong, but it's a great number of how far this trauma can go down the line, that you can carry that in your cells, in your blood, in your DNA. And then for those that their ancestors that cause those pains and traumas on other groups of people, to say, oh, it wasn't me, but that energy, that blood, that those deeds, that generational trauma is carried through you. And I thought it was very powerful that this man said he went to the ceremony with these native people to like clear that out of him, without it, within himself and out, clearing his bloodline of that, to say sorry, to, on the behalf of the ancestors that caused the harm, to say, I'm sorry for what my ancestors did to you. That's powerful as fuck. And most people don't have the humanity or the compassion to do that, because they're so caught up in their white supremacy. They don't want to let the shit go. They don't know how to take accountability. And I cannot get with that. I can't. And granted, that maybe some of your ancestors, they didn't do it. Not everybody's ancestors was racist, or hanging people on trees, or carrying people all across the boats and around the world, or keeping them in captivities, and causing genocide and taking over their lands and things like that. Not everybody's ancestors were a part of that. Some of their ancestors may have been fighting against it, or maybe some of your ancestors might be some of these people, and you might think, oh, I'm all white, I'm all Japanese, but some of your ancestors may be something else. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. um but yeah, I just feel like until we take accountability as a collective and like come from a place of love and humanity, which I might sound like a little kid saying that, because this is probably like never going to happen in our lifetime. I pray for that though. Okay, so the spiritual realm, what guidance do we need with navigating through this time, this period? What do we need? Community life. Number 2, it says embrace fifth dimensional society. Again, this harmonious energy, like we can be in the same space, but maybe still have our own communities where we resonate. And it may not be built off or based off of race or sexuality or age or class. It could be like just who we resonate with, who our soul tribe is, but still respecting other people. Like, how can we get to that place? I feel like that community, that's very big, very significant. It's very powerful because we all are connected to a greater source. So I can't understand humans. I cannot. Okay, I cannot. Okay, anyway, you have number 13 with work satisfaction. Seek that which fulfills your soul. Yeah, again, it's time to step into your purposes and in your callings. It's time to um it is time to find that thing that speaks to your soul, that thing that you feel called to. It's time to step into that. It's definitely time. Okay. So let's see what outcomes or potential paths lie ahead for the collective. Okay. Number 30 with the unicorn. Spread the light of the unicorns. I'm going to read what that means, but spread the light. It's like that mystical, that energy that people have never experienced yet. It's like that rare essence that you are is needed. Everyone has some sort of light inside of them. I believe that. And if not, those that are of the light, you got to like share that part of yourself that you are hiding or that you feel like is not enough or you feel like it's weird or it's too quirky. Like, you feel like you might be judged for this. That unique energy, that rarity, we need that. There's space and room for everybody in this planet to be their authentic self, to be them, to show up in their light, to show up in their gifts, their talents, their purposes, their callings. There's room for all of us to take up space as we're called to. Um, so let me read the unicorn card. Let's see. Okay, so it says unicorns can take any shape, but are often seen as a diamond white horse with the horn of enlightenment spiraling from their third eye. They enter this universe through the Stargate of Lyra. Hope I'm saying that right. Lyra. It says which is overseen by Archangel Christiel. In the golden fifth dimensional future, these illuminated beings will play an important part in keeping the frequency high and pure. They will circle the planet, pouring light in wherever it is needed. Every single person will be aware of their unicorn, who will always be with them, constantly touching them with wisdom, healing, love, joy, and peace. These pure white beings will download spiritual information directly into people so that the golden age can blossom and expand. During full moons, unicorns will shower extra high frequency blessings of love, perfect health, and ascension qualities over humans and animals. At these times, they will work with healers so that deep soul healing can take place. In the golden future, wondrous unicorns will help connect, to fully connect people to their higher selves or to their highest monads. The guidance of this card, it says this card comes to you as a gift and blessing from the unicorns. These enlightened ones connect you through your casual chakra. Take a moment to visualize the center like a shimmering silver white moon above your head. Invite a unicorn to step through it to you. Breathe deeply and open your heart, knowing that one of these magnificent spiritual beings is coming to you. Sense its presence, decide what qualities you would like to develop. As you consider this, know that your unicorn is touching you with its horn and lighting up those qualities in your aura. Relax as this happens. Dedicate yourself as a portal of divine peace and love for the unicorn so that their pure light can constantly flow through you. As I was reading that, I was thinking about I can't remember the character of Sailor Moon, but he was kind of like a guide to Chibi Moon, the little girl in the Sailor Moon series with the pink little cute hair. Um he was her guide. So I'm kind of getting like a spiritual guide energy, and some of you guys maybe resonate with the spirit guide of like a form of an animal. Makes me think of the movie Coco, where they had spirit animals in the in that realm, the spirit realm, the ancestor realm. Um, so your ancestors, your divine team, your divine guides, I feel like they manifest themselves in different forms, or they come through as a reminder, or just use certain symbols and maybe animals to reach you, to resonate with you, get your attention. But like the unicorn, you are a light. You are meant to heal in some kind of way. And healing doesn't have to be laying of the hands. And it could be what you say. It could be your hug. It could be the food that you cook. It could be the words that you write, or um, just the way that you smile at people. Your energy, whatever that may be, is healing, you know? So you tapping into your light, you embracing that light, that love, that peace that you are, it heals people. People need that. And in a world that is, it sometimes can be like people are very selfish. People are very consumed with material, superficial things. You know, you have a lot of negativity, a lot of broken, wounded people, a lot of angry people, ill-intended people in the world. It can be discouraging to walk in that light sometimes, but trust me, like it affects people. And some of those people that may walk around with negative energy, they may just need that light. And it's not to convince, but it's like it's yours if you shall receive it. If not, okay, cool, keep it moving. I'm gonna keep it moving. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna turn my light off. Like, what good is that gonna do? Who is that going to help? And this isn't about saving people. It's just being that reminder, that light that people may need, may not even know that they can find or can tap into within themselves. And it's just a beautiful reminder. So yeah, so we ask, like, what are the outcomes of potential paths that lie ahead? People are going to be tapping more into their lights, tapping more into their purposes, connecting with their spiritual team more, embracing those divine guidances, walking more in love and in peace. But before you can give that to anybody, you have to give that to yourself. You have to be that space of love and peace for yourself. And it's not to say that you're going to just be this perfect being and you don't make mistakes, or you don't have your moments where maybe you act a little, a little stank, or you have a little attitude, or, you know, um, maybe have moments where you are negative, but your entire being, your essence, your intent is to be of love and to be of peace. So yeah, that's the difference. I know people want to ask about the economy and the financial. I'm going to tap into that as well. So let's ask that. Spirit, what is the outlook around financial or economic systems? Like, where is that all heading? Like, what do we need to know about that? What do we need to know? They might have something that comes around, like another like relief fund or something like that. Maybe um, something with like assistance, charity. Maybe not charity literally, but like organizations that do help. Um, but I don't know. I'm seeing some type of institution. It could be a banking system. I don't know. I don't really do the whole financial, like I'm not really good on all that stuff, but I'm picking up something about maybe like a relief fund or something that maybe that might come around again. Something with Wells Fargo is coming through too. Yeah, I don't know, the financial institution, Wells Fargo is coming through with these horses. It makes me think of Wells Fargo. So I don't know what that's about. Let's see if I can get some more guidance on this. Let me see where the financial economic system is potentially heading, Spirit. Yeah, I'm seeing money like flowing. Planetary cleansing. Keep your space pure and clean. Could be something too with like environmental, like people doing more work to clear up the environment, or there's another unicorn here again. So a lot of light beings, people, divine like light people, people that are kind of like a rare gem to society. It might be something with the ocean, or people really stressing taking care of the water. Yeah, the population. Seize your opportunities. So some of you guys will do really well with, and then you have work. Yeah, I was just about to say, some of you guys might do really well with like having your own. I'm not saying to like everybody quit their jobs and that 9 to 5s will never be a thing or whatever, but I'm kind of getting that a lot of people are going to benefit from kind of taking up their own opportunities or creating their own opportunities and opening their own doors, or creating or manifesting through their passions, their gifts, their callings. That spirit is going to like support those that are walking in purpose, that are giving back, also living in their passions, living in their truth. So financially, you might see a lot of more independent, um, yeah, like a lot of more independent work. People more so like, people that you would never think would work for themselves or start giving to their passions, or saying, oh, you know what, I've always wanted to be a chef, or I've always wanted to, um, I don't know, start my own nonprofit organizations. Like, you might see more people leaning towards their passions and not just saying, oh, this is my only avenue. This is just where my life is. Oh, well, I'm just going to do this. Um, it's more of that. I feel like people benefiting more from their passions, their creativity, um, maybe even creating their own lanes or something like that, or like maybe even within the workplace. Seems like a lot of people are going to be tapping into their callings, their purposes. So there's something tied to that with the financial structure. And again, I don't know why I'm seeing like some sort of fund, another like funding or like checks, or I don't know. I'm kind of seeing that. And again, something with Wells Fargo is coming through. I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm getting that. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else and we'll close this out. Um Freaking card. Flee of the table. Okay, so you have crystalline light body. Build your crystalline Merkaba. Mm. Something with our food as well. If you live in the US, compared to other countries, our food ain't shit. Literally. Like it's just too much. The bottom of the deck, you have number 22, the law. Act with common sense and responsibility. So that could just be a message, for us to take. But something about people being more so like really serious about taking care of their bodies and what they put in their bodies, what they eat. But people are going to kind of either be forced to eat better, whether that's because of like something with um, the food supply, and or the body is kind of like, going through its own thing, and you just naturally decide that it's time to do something different, something healthier. More people growing their own foods, um, more people just eating more lighter, maybe not eating as much. Certain foods may be taken off the market. If you live in the US, there's going to be certain recalls on things, and I don't feel like they're going to put them ever back on the shelves. It could be things that you didn't think were bad for you. Hey, Celestial, how are you, sis? Tawanda, how are you? Yeah, it could be things that you didn't think that they would ever be recalled or something like that, but it's for the highest good. So if something is being taken away that isn't healthy for people, take that as a sign from the divine that this is actually, remember how I was saying early in the messages in the reading, that collectively, as the collective consciousness around the world, not just within the US, around the world, desired massive change for the better. But the thing is like, are we prepared for what that change is going to bring, or how to get to that change, or what we might have to sacrifice, what might be taken away? um yeah, are we prepared? So like, if your favorite chips get taken off the market, or them sodas, them juices, them fruit snacks, whatever that shit you're into, and maybe even a fruit that you thought was healthy for you, and they recall that shit and say that ain't good for you, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? But yeah, there's something with the health. I want to clarify this spread before I close this out, because I feel like I need to do that. I want to ask, thank you. I was in Three of Cups. I don't know how big this is going to be, or like if it applies for the majority of the collective, but I do see some sort of fund or something that's meant to benefit some people. I don't know what this is though. Like, King of Wands. Whatever this is, like people are going to be very happy about it, and it's like it's well deserved. You got justice here, and then you also had the law at the bottom of the deck, which kind of is giving that. So it could be like something that is government ordered. Could be something like that. I don't know why though. Like what would be the point of it? I'm not getting anything with that. So I'm sorry if it's a little vague at that point, but let me clarify it one more time. Spirit, what is this? Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it's some sort of fund, like a gift or something. Like I don't know. We'll see, child. We'll see. Could be around the spring going into summer. I'm not sure if it's going to be 2025, but I'm getting like at least a seasonal energy. It feels like spring going into summertime that this might be a thing or announced or something. That horn went off. So hey, yeah, interesting times we're in. I send love to everyone. Okay, check your heart space. Check in with yourself. Where's the posture of your heart? Okay, that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. Like this video if you enjoyed it, you find it insightful, entertaining, if it resonates or aligns with something you've already felt, that you've been picking up, or that maybe you've heard before. Spirit is giving you the heads up. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't gatekeep, share the channel if you so feel led to or guided to, and I would greatly appreciate that. If you guys would like your own personal readings, you guys can always hit me up on my website. Check out my readings. If you have any questions about my readings or my services, feel free to email me, and I would be glad to help you out. Much love. As always, be blessed, be safe. Until the next one.